San Diego Padres baseball coming up on 97.3 The Fan and the Padres Radio Network. Today the Padres take on the Washington Nationals in the first game of a 3-game series. Our starting pitching matchup today for the Nationals, left-hander Patrick Corbin, and for the Padres, right-hander Matt Waldron. Hi again, everyone. Sam Levitt with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park. First pitch coming up at 6:40 as the Padres continue this 7-game homestand. A lot to do on our pregame coverage today. We have a jam-packed show. We'll hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt on all the injury news. We have a ton of injury updates to get to today. That is going to be a major theme of today's show. We'll also hear from Jurickson Profar, Arraez, Matt Waldron, and in just a few minutes, we check in with Tony Gwynn Jr. But first, let's set the table, brought to you by Fraser Farms Market. Set your table with the highest quality of natural and organic products from Fraser Farms Market, a San Diego original since 1971 with 3 locations, La Mesa, Vista, and Oceanside. Padres entered today with a record of 41-41. Padres had a 4-game winning streak snapped yesterday, but they did win 3 out of 4 from the Brewers. Meanwhile, Nationals are 38-39 coming in. They're in the midst of a 9-game road trip to Colorado, San Diego, and Tampa. They just took 2 out of 3 from the Rockies. Nationals have won 11 of their last 15 games. That's actually the best record in the majors since the start of play on June 7th. Padres entered today holding the 3rd and final wild card spot in the NL. Nationals, meanwhile, are just a half game behind the Padres. So while we have a long way to go, these games are potentially very important in the bigger picture of that wild card race. Let's quickly recap yesterday's game against the Brew Crew.
How did the Padres fare in their last game? Let's take a look back with our Padres Rewind. Presented by Hamul Casino. With thrilling slots and tables and all the best rewards, Hamul Casino has all the fun you're looking for. Hamul Casino. Fun above all else.
In the top of the second, Sal Frelick put the Brewers ahead against Michael King.
2 on, 1 out. 2-2. Here's the pitch. Frelick hits it on the ground the other way. That's through the left side and a base hit. Adames is being waved. He's going to come in and score. Ortiz will wheel around to third base. An RBI single for Sal Frelick. 3rd hit of the inning for the Brewers, and a 1-0 lead here in the second.
Blake Perkins was next for Milwaukee.
Ahead here, 0-2. The pitch. Perkins swings, pokes it in the air down the left field line, and that is going to drop in a base hit. 2 runs will score. Another bloop single for the Brewers. This one makes it 3-0 here in the second.
Brewers had a 5-run, 6-hit top of the second against Michael King. The score stayed 5-0 for a while until the Padres had a rally in the bottom half of the 5th inning against Brewers starter Tobias Myers. There were 2 on for Luis Arraez.
Kim at second. Here's the 1-2. Arraez swings, lines it into right field. That's a base hit. Bauer's charging. Kim's rounding third on his way. The throw will go to third. The tag, and Sullivan is safe. RBI single, Luis Arraez. Padres are on the board 5-1 here in the 5th inning.
Brewers made it 6-1. Padres got a run on a Manny Machado sac fly in the 8th inning to make it 6-2, but that was it. The final score, the Brewers 6 and the Padres 2. Padres did take 3 out of 4 against Milwaukee. They did win the series, but the Padres losing the finale yesterday. We have a lot, and I mean a lot of injury news to get to today, but let's just start right now by telling you about the official roster moves before today's game. Quickly, in case you're just jumping in the car, joining us, you have not heard some of this news. Padres placing Fernando Tatis Jr. before today's game on the 10-day IL with a right femoral stress reaction that's retroactive to June 22nd. The Padres also optioning Johnny Brito and Jose Azocar to AAA El Paso. We'll have more on that coming up later. They recalled Adam Mazur from AAA El Paso, along with Eggy Rosario from El Paso. Mazur will start tomorrow, not Yu Darvish. Again, we're going to have more on this coming up in a little bit. Bryce Johnson also had his contract selected by the Padres. Bryce Johnson in today's lineup playing right field for San Diego. So a lot of news to get to. We're going to get to more of it a little bit later, but a lot of moves for the Padres here today. Let's go inside the Padres radio booth.
Let's go inside the Padres broadcast booth for a deep dive on today's matchup from Tony Gwynn Jr. in our Padres game preview on the Padres Radio Network.
Tony, let's begin with the news of the day. There was a lot of news today. I just read off the official roster moves, and in addition to all that, we found out that Yu Darvish is dealing with apparently a little bit of elbow inflammation. That's why he won't make his return to the rotation tomorrow. Just a wide sense, Tony, your reaction to everything that's happened today. A lot of news.
It's a lot in one day. I know that. But, it's kind of par for a baseball season. Guys are going to get injured. You just hope that it's not, all together like this. But, the schedule will go on, and the Padres will have to find a way to kind of have that next man up mentality. But there's no doubt. I mean, you lose Darvish. You already had lost Musgrove. Toddy's down for a little bit. Those type of injuries, aren't great for your ball club.
Well, let's talk about some of the positives right now for this team, and one of those certainly is Matt Waldron. He'll make the start here tonight, a 1.64 ERA in his last 7 starts. And, Tony, he continues to just be marvelous for this team. In these last 7, what stands out to you about how Matt Waldron continues to grow?
Adaptability. His last, 5, 6, 7 starts have all been a little bit different. We've seen him use a high percentage of knuckleballs. We've seen him use it at the 25% mark. We've seen it at 35, but it doesn't really matter. He has learned how to get himself back in at bats where he falls behind with his sinker, his cutter, or the sweeper, and then it allows him to use the knuckleball. And he's just been in a zone right now. Right now, I think we're seeing the most confident version of Matt Waldron that we've seen.
Yeah, very, very confident. You can tell just by talking to him before and after these starts, just the way he continues to gain confidence and the way he continues to grow and learn about himself and learn about the knuckleball and how to be a major league starting pitcher. Another big-time bright spot over the weekend against the Brewers, the continued terrific performance of Jackson Merrill. Continues to hit home runs, 7 in his last 11 games. I talked to Jackson after the game on Saturday when he hit the home run 440 to dead center, and I asked him, is there anything you can point to that's leading to this power surge? And, Tony, I thought it was interesting. The first word he said was confidence, speaking of confidence. And can you take me inside the mind of a player that young as he gets off to a good start and how just confidence alone could lead to something like what we've seen as of late for Jackson Merrill?
Yeah, I actually can take you inside. When you first get to the big leagues, no matter how good you are, there is a seed of doubt of can you do it at this level, right? Once you see that you can do it at the level, then there's like another kind of a hurdle you got to get over. And that is really learning what pitchers are trying to do to you. And at beyond the halfway point, when you've had the kind of success Jackson's had, what happens is you start to believe what it is your eyes are telling you you're seeing. And I think prior to that moment, it's not that you don't believe your eyes, you're just not 1,000% sure to really let your swing go. But now, after this many at-bats, well over 200 at-bats at this point, you're starting to trust what your eyes are seeing. And now you can let the swing go. And I think that's really the only difference. I love what I'm seeing from Jackson because nothing has changed in terms of his swing and his approach. Now he just is trusting what he's seeing, what his eyes are telling him he's going to see.
Yeah, really good breakdown there. Continues to do just terrific things at the plate and in center field. Tony, before I let you go, we know the Padres have struggled against lefties this year, and I've asked you some version of this question many, many times, but I'm going to do it again because the issues against left-handed starters have not really improved. I'm going to get into the numbers a little bit later. 3 lefties in this series for the Nationals. It starts with Patrick Corbin here tonight. Simply as I can put it, how do the Padres hit these lefty starters during this series?
You know what? I got a different answer to you for this time. How about that? I think, one of the things that's been happening a lot against left-handers is, it's starting to feel like the approach changes. And I don't know that it's intentional, right? I think I can give you an example. When I had to face a left-handed pitcher, because he was left-handed, I had to, focus in more as a left-handed hitter because I knew there were certain things that were absolutes that I had to do in order to have a chance. On the flip side of that, when I was facing a righty, there were times where I just kind of took it for granted. Like, I'm going to see the baseball well, he's on the opposite side, and, therefore you start to try to get outside yourself. And, it results in some weak fly balls. And I think that's what you're seeing from the Padres. We're seeing, against left-handed pitching, we're seeing less activity in the middle of the field, which is where the Padres do most of their damage. And beyond that, you're getting the weak fly balls. And so if the Padres are going to have success today, I think it needs to look a lot like it looks when they're facing the righties, right? They need to be – their game plan and their approach needs to be in the middle of the field, especially for the righties, because, that's where we're struggling the most is against left-handed pitching. The righties that we had counted on doing something have struggled. And so I think it just kind of gets back to simplifying, getting back to what they do on the normal basis against righties.
Really good insight, Tony. We'll talk to you and Jesse coming up at 6:30. Good to have you back on the radio side of things. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Sam.
All right, that is Tony Gwynn Jr. joining us here on our EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show as we get ready for today's game. First pitch coming up at 6:40 between the Padres and the Nationals. We have a lot to do on our pregame coverage. When we come back, we hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt. You are going to hear everything injury related. Fernando Tatis Jr., Yu Darvish, the moves that were made today. Jose Azocar back down to AAA. Johnny Brito back down to AAA. Bryce Johnson in the major leagues in the lineup today. Adam Mazur activated for tomorrow's start. So there is a lot to get to. And a little bit later, we're going to hear from Luis Arraez, Jurickson Profar, and Matt Waldron. So we have a lot to do. First pitch coming up at 6:40. Back after this on the Padres Radio Network.
Thanks for listening to the EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show. Visit EcoWaterSoCal.com for a free water test and consultation. Your water should be perfect.
During peak wildfire season, one spark in dry, windy conditions can put our communities at risk. That's why, as a last resort, SDG&E may need to call a power shutoff for public safety. We only power down where absolutely necessary. And once the threat has passed, our team works quickly and safely to restore power to affected communities. Learn more about public safety power shutoffs at sdge.com/PSPS.
Now that baseball season is in full swing, get ready for Major League winning when you join the most generous Players Club in Southern California at Valley View Casino and Hotel. Join and receive over $100 in free instant offers to enjoy at San Diego's favorite casino. No strings attached. Signing up for the Players Club is always quick, easy, and free. So visit valleyviewcasino.com to learn more today.
TimberTech is the #1 premium composite decking brand. It's got the beauty of real wood without all the maintenance. To get free samples or find a local contractor, visit TimberTech.com. TimberTech. Everything wood should be.
Hey guys, it's your old pal Woodsy for Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Your 15 minutes or less drive-through oil change reminds you you can stay in your car while it's being serviced. Valvoline is the quick, convenient, and most trusted oil change provider in San Diego. I go to the one by my house, every 3,000 miles. You're not driving as much, don't need an oil change? Valvoline Instant Oil Change offering a free courtesy check of your tires and battery. Valvoline is open 7 days a week. For directions and discounts, go to SoCalOilChange.com. That's SoCalOilChange.com.
Heading to Petco Park for San Diego Padres games this season? Take the coaster train and avoid traffic and expensive parking. Parking is free at most coaster stations, and we added extra trains for the fans. Visit GoNCTD.com/Padres to plan your trip.
Hey, this is Chris Ello from Gwynn and Chris, and I got great news for those of you that are fans of Spiro's Mediterranean cuisine like I am. You can now find Spiro's at Petco Park and enjoy one of Spiro's traditional gyros or their new Horatiki bowl if you like a little zing. Look for Spiro's on the third baseline, main concourse, and experience the delicious food and flavors of the Mediterranean. Try Spiro's in Coronado, La Jolla, or now Petco Park. For dining and takeout options, visit spiroscuisine.com. And don't forget the tzatziki sauce.
Welcome back to the EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show on the Padres Radio Network. Your water perfected. EcoWater SoCal. Your water should be perfect. Find them online at EcoWaterSoCal.com. Sam Levitt with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park as the Padres get ready to take on the Washington Nationals. Before we hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt, let's quickly pause for station ID on the Padres Radio Network.
KWFN and KWFN HD1 San Diego.
Hi, this is Michael King. The Padres play here on San Diego's #1 station, 97.3 The Fan.
An Odyssey Sports Station.
Sam Levitt with you here inside the loft at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park as we get ready for Game 1 of this 3-game series between the Padres and the Nationals. Like we alluded to before the break, there is a ton of news to get to from Mike Shildt here today. Injury news, transaction news, who's up, who's down, big-time injury news on Fernando Tatis Jr. and Yu Darvish. Let's hear about all of it as we hear from the Padre manager.
Let's pull up a seat in the manager's office and hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt. Presented by Sinley Food. Spice up your culinary life.
So we'll start with Toddy. He's going on the IL. I'll give you the best explanation. I'm sure there'll be some follow-up questions. You know, in broad strokes, I mean, it's been pretty clear he's been dealing with the quad. You know, it's something that is really unique in a sense that it hasn't caused him a ton of discomfort being at full speed. It hasn't bothered him with anything with his swing or anything offensively. But clearly it's something that when he has to decelerate, and it got to the point where he had to start to accelerate, started to bother more, and just the pounding of a jog actually created more discomfort for him. And so, you know, what we felt like medically was a more of a muscular deal that he was going to be able to play with and play through, and clearly he has very well, we might add. And then once it started to feel like it was starting to impact him a little bit more consistently, you know, the group stopped and said, hey, what does this need to, we need to get some imaging. And it turns out he's got a slight stress reaction in that area. So, you know, we found this out a couple of days ago, spoke with him, spoke to a bunch of medical people, including our trainers and so forth. He could still play because he's been playing with it, but it's something that is not going to get better unless we rest it.
When you say stress reaction, is that a stress fracture or is it just a muscular
stress
thing?
reaction?
Okay, so it's
I think you could
muscular?
No, it's bone.
Oh, it is bone.
It is bone. Yeah, that's the thing that was, you know, causing us some uncertainty with the medical group, with him about how it was presenting, and it was presenting as muscular, but turned out to be, you know, bone. And again, you know, it's a stress reaction. Some people may call it a fracture at some point. I don't get into the weeds with the medical terminology, but it has been labeled a reaction. And has been diagnosed, and it is something that even right now, like the last 2 days, he was available to taking a bat, like he's been available for the last several months. He could actually still continue to play. The reality, though, is he was starting to get to a point where he was going at a high percentage of clip and starting to see a little bit of more compromised of, I think we all saw it, of how he's able to perform. So we're going to take some time, let him heal. He's a young, great athlete that we anticipate to heal quicker, but we don't have a timetable on it.
Is the expectation or the hope that it'll be 10 days, or is it pretty much known that it might be longer than that?
You know, I think we always want to hope it's going to be closer to 10 days. I think we should be realistic and expect some. If we're going to do this, we do have an advantage in the schedule right now, where we have clearly the All-Star break coming up, and I'm not saying it's going to go through the All-Star break, or I can't tell you that. I don't think, because nobody knows. So it'd be, but we do have. I did my math right, which could be sketchy. I believe we have 15 games in the next, you know, before the All-Star break type thing. So we got or 17 games rather in like 25 days. So yeah, there's no time to miss Toddy. But if we're going to rest it now, we're going to have about a 25-day window that Could be early, could be later. But my point is that we have a point in the schedule where we're not going to miss many games with this break.
The associated moves that are going with his going on the IL, and also we saw some other players that look like they're moving as well.
Yeah, we do have some moves. In no particular order. We got Bryce Johnson that's on the club in the lineup today. So Bryce is, I don't know who gets moved for who, but Bryce is on the roster in Toddy's, stead. Play all the outfield positions starting tonight against the lefty. We have Rosario back. Eggy will be back. He's done a really nice job in AAA at the expense of, moving Sugar. So Zokar will go down and get some at-bats and work on his game. And then, Mazer will also be up for Brito. And so, the move there, which I'm sure questions will be coming relative to Mr. Darvish. But let's unpack, the move with Brito right now. It's really when I say it's a positive move for Brito didn't take it that way necessarily. And when you go to the minor leagues, like, hey, this is great. But it is a positive move for the organization. It's a big picture move. Johnny's done a nice job here. He's pitched in a lot of different roles. But we also look up, and this is a guy that has pitched in a longer relief setting for us and done well, has the weapons to be able to turn over lineups. So he's going to go to El Paso as a starter and start to get built up and create some organizational depth. So that's a valuable thing for us and for him. And those are the moves.
You already presented the segue for it, so are we still expecting to see you on the mound tomorrow?
Yeah, I just wanted you to talk for a while. And we're not going to see Darvish on the mound tomorrow. Major's going to take that start, which is why he's the move for Brito. Getting some medical things, still corrective. He's got a little inflammation in his elbow. Do we think it's serious? We don't. As most of these things early on, there's optimism, but it's not blind. So we'll just continue to evaluate it. But, we don't think it's going to be too much longer, but it is going to be longer than him being able to take the start tomorrow.
That was Padres manager Mike Shildt before today's game. I know that was a very long clip there for Mike Shildt, but he really got to everything there, from the news on Fernando Tatis Jr. to the news on Johnny Brito going down to AAA to get stretched out as a starting pitcher, which in the long run is probably good for Johnny and the Padres to stretch him out as a starter, to that news on Yu Darvish, which, look, Mike Shildt said they're not overly concerned about it, it sounds like, but anytime you hear inflammation and elbow, you have to have some concern about that. So we'll see what the deal is in the days to come with Yu Darvish, but we know that Yu Darvish will not make the start tomorrow against the Nationals. So a lot of news, a lot of transactions here today, and that was Mike Shildt on all of it before today's game. We'll hear more from Mike on our post-game show coming up later on today. Let's tell you who's hot, who's not.
Which player is locked in at the dish? Who needs to kick things up another notch? This is Who's Hot, Who's Not on the Padres Radio Network.
In the hot category, we take a look at a few Padres and a National as well. Profar, a 15-game on-base streak, a 7-game hitting streak, 4 doubles, 2 home runs, and 10 RBIs for Jurickson in that span. C.J. Abrams, former Padre, now with the Nationals, hitting .362 with a .422 on-base percentage, .690 slugging percentage in the last 14 games, 12 extra base hits, and 13 RBIs in that span. Jackson Merrill for the Padres, also in the hot category, hitting .370 with a .414 on-base percentage, .833 slugging percentage in his last 15 games, 7 home runs, 13 RBIs in that span. And finally, Jake Cronenworth, 9 for 18 in the series against the Brewers, batting .311 with a .940 OPS in his last 16 games. As far as the not category, this was a rare day where I looked up and down both lineups, and I'll tell you, nobody is really ice cold in either lineup. The Padres lineup, the Nationals lineup. I went through that whole Nationals lineup, and there is nobody that is really ice cold. So we are going to have a rare hot only who's hot, who's not on this Monday. And that's a look at who's hot, who's not as we get ready for first pitch coming up at 6:40. When we come back, we'll hear from Luis Arraez. We'll hear from Jurickson Profar. We'll hear from today's starting pitcher, Matt Waldron, and much, much more as we get ready for today's game here at Petco Park. Our pregame coverage continues after this.
Looking for an ethical water treatment company? Make the smart choice with EcoWater SoCal. Since 2006, they've served our area with integrity and a commitment to doing what's right. EcoWater SoCal is a finalist for the prestigious 2024 Better Business Bureau Torch Award for Ethics, recognizing exceptional ethical practices. Experience the ethical water treatment leader by visiting EcoWaterSoCal.com or calling 760-350-3338. Tell them Woodsy sent you.
Our newest Soapy Joe's location is now open on Hacienda Drive off the 78 in Vista. Your first wash is on us. Text MAGIC to 94333 and see what the hype is all about. The official car wash partner of the San Diego Padres. Soapy Joe's is good, clean, fun.
Listen to Gwen and Chris for your chance to watch the classic film Field of Dreams with the Academy Award-nominated score performed live by the San Diego Symphony Orchestra in the world premiere of the film in concert, July 19th at the Rady Shell at Jacobs Park. Tickets at theshell.org.
Make the right choice for your home when it comes to windows and doors. For more than 20 years, the Window Depot has provided the best price and biggest inventory on in-stock windows and doors. The Window Depot is open to the public, so whether you're a homeowner or a contractor, you can shop the enormous warehouse. Browse the shelves with over 1,000 vinyl windows, interior and patio doors, and skylights in several varieties and sizes available to go home today. Shop thewindowdepot.com or find a location near you. The Window Depot, best price, biggest inventory.
Hey, it's Gravy here from Gwen and Chris, and I did it. I got my shoulder surgery, and boy, do I have great things to say about Kaiser Permanente, because I was very nervous about this whole procedure, and throughout the entire process, the doctors, the nurses, anyone I talked to made me feel better about it. Didn't seem like they were rushing through their consultations with me. It didn't seem like they had other things to do, and once I got in the operating room, I felt at ease, and I felt comfortable, and I'm on my way to recovery. Kaiser Permanente, for all that is you. For more information, go to kp.org/San Diego.
With all the uncertainty and chaos in the world, my clients take comfort in the things they know they can control. For almost 40 years, we've been helping people improve, maintain, and repair their chimneys and fireplaces. Regain the confidence that your home's fireplace is safe, structurally sound, and in good working order. Call us today at 1-800-CHIMNEY. That's 1-800-CHIMNEY, or visit us online at chimneysweepsinc.com. Right now, the internet is full of unlicensed and uninsured companies. Don't be led astray. Call 1-800-CHIMNEY today.
Our EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park as we get ready for first pitch. Coming up at 6:40, Game 1 of this three-game series between the Padres and the Washington Nationals. We already got to a lot of injury news earlier, but let's recap it one more time as we give you our injury report.
Who's in? Who's out? This is the Bada Fulkerson Injury Report, presented by San Diego's Bulldog Injury Attorneys, who hope you're never in an accident. But if you are, make Bada Fulkerson the first call you make. Hit them up 24/7 at badafulkerson.com.
When you look at the Padres' injuries right now, it's fairly remarkable the number of key guys the Padres have on the IL right now. We know that Yu Darvish is now, after dealing with that groin injury, making the rehab start last week at High A Fort Wayne. He's now dealing with what Mike Shildt called the little right elbow inflammation. So obviously not great news there with Yu Darvish. Fernando Tatis Jr. on the IL with, again, what was officially called by the team in the transaction a right femoral stress reaction for Fernando Tatis Jr., and the timetable not totally clear on when he'll be back, and we heard from Mike Shildt earlier on that. Sounds like the Padres are at the very least going to use this start of July where the Padres have more off days, potentially the All-Star break, to give Fernando a couple of weeks here to rest up. So hopefully it won't be too long, but again, not totally clear on the timetable right now. Joe Musgrove on the IL with, as we know, the elbow issues, and then Luis Camposano on the IL with the thumb issues. Xander Bogaerts on the IL with the shoulder issue. Again, you just look at all the guys on the IL right now. Big-time guys on the IL. It is unfortunate for the Padres, to say the least. So, little roundup there for our injury report. Obviously, we heard a lot from Mike Shildt on all the injury news earlier today, like we heard in our last segment. Well, before today's game, Jurickson Profar spoke with the media inside the Padres clubhouse. Here was Jurickson on the series win against the Brewers.
Yes, it was a really good series. We needed that. We needed to get some W's at home, and then we got another series tonight. We should be playing the same baseball that we played the last couple days.
You guys are weathering a lot of injuries right now, just all around the clubhouse. What do you guys need to do right now to get past this phase and the stretch that you're in?
I think just keep playing good baseball. Injuries are going to happen. We play baseball almost every day, for 162. So it's not easy. So, just keep going. The guys that are coming in, just keep doing what we're doing.
What has impressed you most about Matt Waldron, especially this last stretch he's had?
Everything. He's a really good pitcher, and he started a little bit slow, but he's been great, really good.
Facing another one of those teams that's kind of in the wild card mix, is it too early to pay attention to that, or do you think of the significance that this series could have?
No, we don't think about that. We always thinking about what we can do, what we can improve, and how can we play better every day. That's the number one thing for us.
That was Jurickson Profar inside the Padres clubhouse earlier today. We'll hear from Luis Arraez, the leadoff man, in just a moment. First, let's take a look at the out-of-town scoreboard.
Let's take a trip around the Bigs and tell you about the scores you need to know in our out-of-town scoreboard. Presented by Jensen Meat, where great taste meets integrity.
Games going on right now in the major leagues. Guardians ahead of the Orioles 3-2 in Baltimore in the 9th inning. Phillies 8, Tigers 1 in Detroit in the 8th inning. Mariners lead the Rays 3-1 in Tampa Bay in the 7th inning. Reds ahead of the Pirates 11-3 in Cincinnati in the 6th inning. Blue Jays ahead of the Red Sox 6-2 at Fenway Park in the 8th inning. In Milwaukee, the Brewers and the Rangers are scoreless in the 5th inning. Cardinals ahead of the Braves 4-1 in St. Louis in the 6th. Dodgers and the White Sox in Chicago, 4th inning, no score there. Marlins and the Royals in Kansas City. Marlins leading 1-0 in the 4th inning. And games going on right now, or I should say, coming up in a little bit. A's and the Angels in Anaheim at 6:40. And finally, the Cubs and the Giants in San Francisco at 6:45. And that is a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard on this Monday around the major leagues. And speaking of the Giants, the Padres have a former Giant, Bryce Johnson, in the lineup here today. We'll have more on Johnson coming up in just a little bit. But first, let's hear from a Padre that you know quite a lot about already, and that is Luis Arraez. Arraez playing first base here today, leading off for the Padres. Here was Arraez on how he would approach facing tonight's Padres starting pitcher, Matt Waldron.
I want to face him one time, maybe next year in spring training. We face live BP, and then let's see what happens.
What would your approach be?
Miro, scramble to him.
This team is getting hit with some injuries around the clubhouse, and guys playing through stuff too. What do you see about this team that's going to be necessary to make it through the stretch?
Yeah, we lose a lot of guys, a lot of players, but we have another ones. We got Peralta, he's new here. We got a lot of guys coming up, and then, like I say, if the manager give me opportunity to me, I would give him 100%. And I told the players too. So let's see what happens. This is baseball, and we just need to continue play hard and then play together.
Washington is another one of those teams that's kind of in the wild card mix. Do you think about that at this point?
I feel a lot of those guys in Miami. They got a good team. They got young players. They play hard. They fast. There's one of the team faster. And we fire 3 lefties. They are really good. So we just need to fade them like we fade LA every day. Last year I fade Washington, and then they don't look like they look this year.
That was Luis Arraez inside the Padres clubhouse earlier today. We'll hear from today's starting pitcher, Matt Waldron, coming up in our next segment. Right now, let's give you our keys to today's game.
How will the Padres unlock a victory in today's game? These are the keys to the game. Presented by Honor Buick GMC Hummer in National City.
Key number 1, level up against the lefty. On paper, Patrick Corbin should be a guy the Padres can hit. Opposing batters are hitting .307 against Corbin this season. That's the highest opponent average in the majors among 94 pitchers with at least 70 innings of work. The Padres have hit Corbin hard over the years. They have a .355 batting average against him in 5 starts since he joined the Nationals. So that's one side of the coin. The other side of the coin, the Padres have not hit left-handed starting pitching at all. Well, not at all, but not very much. The last 22 games where the Padres have faced a left-handed starter, and Patrick Corbin is a lefty, those starters have a collective 1.64 ERA in 22 starts. In 17 of those 22 starts, the opposing pitcher has allowed 1 or no runs. So essentially, left-handed starters as of late for other teams against the Padres, they're having a Cy Young caliber year against the Padres, if you want to think about it that way. Can the Padres level up against the lefty? Nationals are starting 3 lefties in this series. Time is now. Padres got to hit lefties. That's key number 1. Key number 2. Keep the offense rolling at home. Despite scoring just 2 runs yesterday, the Padres hit a combined .309 in the 4-game series against the Brewers. They're batting .302 here at home in their last 11 games here at Petco Park. Contrast that with their average through 31 games at Petco Park. They hit just .227. So offensively, despite losing yesterday, Padres have been a much, much better team at the plate here at Petco Park. Gotta keep that going here tonight. And key number 3, more marvelous work from Matty Nux. Yes, I went with the nickname, Matty Nux. Matt Waldron makes his first start against the Nationals since making his Major League debut against the Nationals exactly 1 year ago. Took the loss that day, gave up 2 solo homers in 4 2/3 innings. He has been so good in his last 7 starts, a 1.64 ERA in those 7, a 1.92 opponent batting average. More marvelous work from Matt is key number 3, and that's a look at our keys to the game. When we come back, we'll hear from today's starting pitcher, Matt Waldron. Plus, we take a much deeper look at one of the new Padres in the lineup here today. All that and more coming up after this on the Padres Radio Network.
SoCal Padres pregame show. Visit EcoWaterSoCal.com for a free water test and consultation. Your water should be perfect.
For 70 years, Sid's Carpet Barn has been San Diego's leader for high-quality flooring at the lowest possible pricing. For a huge selection at everyday lowest prices, visit any Sid's or SidsCarpet.com.
Sid's Carpet Barn, come on down, come on down.
Energy-efficient windows, total roofing protection, and exterior house painting. It's all here at Genesis Home Improvements. Licensed, bonded, and insured. 100% financing, no money down. Save 15% today. Visit GenesisHomeImprovementsSD.com.
It's Kia's Summer Sticker Sales Event. You should be driving a Kia. You should be driving a Kia. From El Cajon Kia to Kia of El Cajon. This summer's on us. 0 down, 0 payments until Labor Day, and a brand new Team Kia for under 20 grand. But they're going fast. New 24 Kia Soul LX, just $19,995, or get 2 for $222. 2024 Kia Soul LX, just $111 per month lease, or get 2 for $222. Rebates up to $9,000 and 0% for 60 months on every select new Kia in stock. All with a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty. $11,500 off MSRP. Good or bad credit. First-time buyers. Bankruptcies. Even if you only have an I-10 and no social. Get a new Kia for under 20 grand. Only while supplies last at TeamKiaofElCajon.com. On approved credit, not all will qualify. Tax, title, license, and 150 title and registration processing fee. $39.95 due at signing. 24 months, 10,000 miles. Through KMAP. Rebates and incentives to dealer. Offers not in combination. To choose. EB6 expires 6/30/24.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
Our EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park as we get ready for first pitch. Coming up at 6:40, first game of this three-game set between the Padres and the Nationals. Jackson Merrill, of course, in the lineup today for the Padres, playing center field and batting sixth. I see somebody with a Merrill Madness shirt on right in front of me. Very, very cool shirt. I'm seeing a lot of Merrill Madness gear as of late here at the ballpark, and for good reason. He continues to be terrific in this rookie campaign. We'll hear from today's starting pitcher, Matt Waldron, in just a moment. First, let's tell you what to watch for in this series opener.
What's the one thing Sam Levitt will be keeping his eye on in today's game? This is What to Watch For. Presented by Genesis Home Improvements, San Diego's trusted painting, roofing, and window company. Save 15% today on a new beginning for your home. Visit GenesisHomeImprovementsSD.com.
What to watch for in today's game. Bryce Johnson making his Padres debut, batting ninth and playing right field for the Padres today. Jose Zocar was optioned down to AAA El Paso before the game, and essentially the corresponding move was getting Bryce Johnson up here. And look, the Padres made that move for a reason, right? Whatever the reason is, they wanted Johnson here. They wanted him in the lineup, and guys are going to get an opportunity right now with Fernando Tatis Jr. out of the lineup, as we learned earlier today. The Padres putting Tatis on the IL. So let's just give you a little preview of Bryce Johnson. At AAA El Paso this year, he batted .301 with an .891 OPS, 3 home runs, 28 RBIs, 14 doubles in 61 games. Johnson also can run 18 stolen bases in 20 attempts. He came up with the Giants organization, spent a little time in the major leagues both in 2022 and 2023, and now he'll make his Padres debut here tonight. So that's a look at Bryce Johnson in the lineup today for the Pods. Let's hear from today's starting pitcher, Matt Waldron. Obviously, the knuckleball, a big part of his arsenal. Here was Waldron on using that knuckler as of late.
Yeah, I think I'm relying a lot more on the knuckleball right now than I expected at the beginning of this year. And just that kind of puts away some of the other pitches. So I just, prepare and make sure that thing's ready to go for the day.
Matt Waldron has been terrific as of late. We'll dive into the numbers in just a second. Here is Waldron on how he can keep up this pace.
Yeah, number one, just making sure my body's good and just preparing and continuing to do what I'm doing. And, never take anything for granted or lightly. And it's a tough game, so I just got to stay on top of everything.
And you probably have heard about this, but Patrick Mahomes actually tweeted about Matt Waldron a handful of days ago. And Mahomes, he tweeted a video of him throwing a football, kind of like he was winding up as a pitcher. And Mahomes said, "I'm trying to learn the knuckleball the Waldron dude from the Padres throws." So how about that? Matt Waldron getting the shout out from Super Bowl winner Patrick Mahomes. Here was Matt Waldron on that Mahomes tweet.
That was crazy. Because we can't have our phone during the game, so after the game I got a text saying, I got shouted out by the MVP, and I was like, it was Jackson that day for us. So I was like, oh, that's cool. And then all of a sudden I knew it was Patrick Mahomes, and I think it took me like 3 hours to realize just how special that was, and just the reaction it got was amazing, and it's an honor.
And why has Matt Waldron caught the attention of Patrick Mahomes? Well, let's find out as we preview today's pitching matchup.
Let's take a look at who's on the bump today with our starting pitching preview. Presented by Chimney Sweeps, Inc., San Diego's trusted chimney and fireplace service company for 40 years. Call Chimney Sweeps, Inc. at 1-800-CHIMNEY or book an inspection online at chimneysweepsinc.com.
The right-hander Matt Waldron on the mound for the Padres, 27 years old here in 2024, 5-6, a 3.46 ERA in 15 starts, 83-plus innings. He struck out 76 and walked 25. Waldron beat the Phillies last Wednesday, a great start, 1 run given up in 7 innings. Waldron's last 7 starts had a 1.64 ERA. He has been terrific. His pitches, the knuckleball, the four-seamer, the sweeper, the sinker, and the cutter. Meanwhile, left-hander Patrick Corbin on the mound for the Nationals so far this year, 1-7, a 5.60 ERA in 15 starts, 82 innings, 99 hits. He has been better as of late. Last Wednesday against the Diamondbacks, 5 innings, 1 run given up. Back-to-back starts of allowing 1 earned run or fewer. How about this? Patrick Corbin is trying to do that, allow 1 earned run or less in 3 consecutive starts for the first time since 2019. That's what Corbin will try to do here today. Opposing batters, like we said earlier, hitting .307 against Corbin this year. He has a 6.75 ERA in 5 starts against the Padres since joining Washington. The arsenal for Corbin, the sinker, slider, cutter, four-seam fastball, and the changeup. And that's a look at our starting pitching matchup today between the knuckleballer Matt Waldron and left-hander, the veteran Patrick Corbin. And Corbin, somebody the Padres you would hope would be able to handle, but as we know and as we illustrated earlier, hitting left-handed starting pitching, well, that has been quite the problem for the Padres this season. You've been listening to the EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show on the Padres Radio Network. EcoWater SoCal, your water should be perfect. Find them online at EcoWaterSoCal.com. Padres enter today with a record even at 500 of 41-41. Meanwhile, the Nationals are at 38-39. Again, these two teams separated by just a half game in the NL wildcard standings. Padres entered today holding the 3rd and final wildcard spot in the National League. Washington a half game behind. So while we have a long way to go, these games are big. They're important in the big picture of that wild card race when all is said and done. When we come back, Jesse Agler, Tony Gwynn Jr. have the full starting lineups, first pitch, and then all the play-by-play. I'll talk to you on our post-game show. You're listening to your home for San Diego Padres baseball, 97.3 The Fan, and the Padres Radio Network. Enjoy the game, everybody.